chats here at SMITHEE TV in downtown Toronto with Tim Progosh, an actor and the co-founder and producer of the Canadian Comedy Awards. What inspired you to get into the business?
Actually, I was in theater school, and in grade 8, I was the lead in musicals and Christmas Carol, and my music teacher really liked me, and then I became a jock. Then I broke my wrist before trying out for the Western football team, and my brother said, why don't you take drama? And I did, and I got in and took Second City classes, and the rest is pretty much that.
And how did your training at Second City prepare you for your life as an actor?
Well, it was a lot different than, well, we take some improv. Like I went to Western in the theater program there, and it was good in the sense that I got to meet some really interesting people that were in my class. Mike Myers, Kevin McDonald, a guy named Kelly Fiddick, and myself, and it was very interesting. But at that point, which was a long time ago, I will say the year, it was 1980, and it was fantastic. It was a really good program. It's only evolved since then. They turn out a lot of wonderful people. But I was rooted in dramatic acting first, which I think always helps comedy. The realer the situation, the realer the scene, the more comical it becomes.
What prompted you to co-found the Canadian Comedy Awards?
Brain aneurysm. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't that at all. It was actually, it was one night at the Laugh Resort. I used to perform there, and one of my friends, Mike Uhlmann, was opening up for Gilbert Gottfried. And Gilbert Gottfried was there as a big headliner, a big brouhaha about him. And I was listening to people as they left the show, and everybody said, well, Gilbert Gottfried, okay, but that Uhlmann guy is hilarious. And I thought, and I toured around, I'd done sketch, improv, and stand-up. Sketch and improv and stand-up for about, I started in 1982 would be my first shows. And that I got paid for. You know, it wasn't just a bunch of guys in the basement. But what I noticed doing those shows and traveling around was just how great the Canadian people were at it. And then you'd get, you know, the odd part in a movie, and you'd be with Eric Peterson or Kenneth Welsh or Sheila McCarthy or some of these people, and you'd laugh all day. And then they're very talented, and you start saying, you know, why do we always look at Hollywood box office hits, commercial success, as a measure of what's funny and what's good? And I said, maybe I can do something about it. So I had been involved in television production, and I thought it would be a good way. And I had done some promotion in my past as well, and a lobbyist. And I've worked in restaurants for a long time, as most waiters do, but and actors. I just figured that we could do something and that people would be into it. So I had been on the board of ACTRA, and I got ACTRA to be the voting mechanism and equity in the Writers Guild and Directors Guild, and I had a voting base, and then we went from there.
And how was the first Canadian Comedy Awards? How did that ceremony go, and how has it changed since then?
That's a really, really good question, Katie. The first one was long. We were doing it for television and taping it. It was the first time as a producer. I had done a multi-camera live shoot like that. So we had some logistical problems, and it took forever. But we had Don Herron there, and Dave Broadfoot, and Rick Mercer, and I thought it was funny. What was fun then versus now was the fact that I could get and do funny things. We tried to make it funny. We had, instead of a beautiful girl in a slinky dress, we had two security guards, one of which is Jordan Prentice, the actor, who's gone on to a career, but it was a real odd pairing. We were able to do different things with the set and have more fun. And our idea was to always make it funny and not too slick. Because most of the people that I know and grew up with in comedy, and even the people that went before me that I admired, there's a certain irreverence, a certain amount of fun that you have with it. So that's one thing that's mainly the same. As long as I'm involved, there will always be some kind of crazy thing. That first night went on too long. I remember there was some people who were drunk, and I had hired some guys I played hockey with to be the bouncers, and we almost got in a little problem with some of the people who were there, who ended up being fun and friends of mine, so everything was great, and they're wonderful, talented people who remain nameless. But it was more the excitement in the air, and the fact, the first one we got Dave Thomas to be the host, and Dave said, I will do this only if I get to criticize it right off the bat. So he came out as Bill Needle and made a criticism of the Canadian Comedy Awards, and then stopped halfway through and said, but why shouldn't there be a Canadian Comedy Awards? Like, look at the numbers of the box office, and it was a great speech. Next year, we did a wonderful thing where we had a cast. Anyway, it's just been fun every year that we get to do different things, have fun. There's been a resurgence. That's what's key in the last couple of years, and that's how it's really changed. There's been resurgence and a little bit more importance and a little bit more reverence, because some of the younger people involved want to see that nice ceremony, want to get dressed up, want to have a little bit more fun. So I have to kind of step aside. Last year was produced by Gary Rideout. The two previous years by Harry Dupe, and they both brought some more, how shall I say it, a little bit more pizzazz to it, a little bit more fun. And it's fun, it's shorter, it's always under 2 hours, and that's key because everybody wants to get, can I say this? I'll quote Deborah DiGiovanni. Everybody wants to get to the parking lot, and everybody wants to start dancing. Okay, that's it.
And what advice would you give to an aspiring actor?
You know what, because I'm older now, what I'd really suggest is acting is fun. You have to be good at your craft. One person turned to me and said, and I know I talk a lot, like one word and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, one person said that to make it in show business of any kind, it's 30% talent, 30% availability, 30% marketing, and 10% luck. And I've always used that as pretty accurate. Like, your talent will get you in, your marketing and your availability will get you in the door. Your talent will get you the job. The luck will be that if somebody's talking to somebody, something happens. So you don't know what's going to happen. My biggest jobs, and the reason I went from being like a day player, because I was fortunate enough to get some bigger parts, not enough to make me retire. But if there's somebody watching who wants to give me that opportunity, that'd be fantastic. But I was fortunate, it was all happenstance. Come by this restaurant. My first agent, David Karnick, God rest his soul, wonderful man, who phoned me up one day and said, why don't you walk by this restaurant? I'm having lunch with this casting agent. So I left my home, I walked by, and he goes, oh, hi, Tim, this is Claire Walker. Claire, you haven't met my newest client, Tim. And, well, what are you doing tomorrow, Tim? Well, nothing. Would you like to be a reader for this movie? I went in, was a reader for the movie, they didn't give the part to anybody who came in, they gave it to me. The biggest part and I did a series for 2 years in Africa, and I got that part because my twins were just born, and I was walking down the street, and a director's wife saw me and went home and said, oh, I just saw Tim. He looked out of his mind, crazy. And he went, he'd be perfect for that part. So do what you can, but it's going to happen the way it's going to happen. And always, and I told my kids, who some of them wanted to get in show business or do want to get in show business, have something else. Like, you've got to be able to earn an income. If you're walking through the door needy and don't have the right, can't run out and buy that little thing or take time to rehearse, right? Then you're not going to get the job, especially if you're needy, because so if you're desperate, I think they can see that. Absolutely. Yeah. And
where's the best place to find out more information on you and your work and the Canadian Comedy Awards online?
Canadian Comedy Awards is at canadiancomedy.ca. I have a little website called tprogosh.com, and that's more about my acting. And of course, if you really want to find out, just you can Google, and it'll have a bunch of crap that isn't true. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations on the Canadian Comedy Awards and all of your many, many acting roles, and best of luck in the future.
And I just want to say one more thing. We're very excited about the move to Ottawa this year. The festival will be in Ottawa October 3rd to the 6th. We're going to have a comedy train leaving Toronto. There'll be discount fares for members who sign up and go, and it's going to be the biggest and greatest party yet.
I'm Katie Uhlmann reporting for Katie Chats here at SMITHEE TV in downtown Toronto.
I'm at Katie Chats here, and I understand you've been on the show too. Fantastic show. I'm holding the set of the Great White North, and I just wanted to personally thank you for coming on board of the first Canadian Comedy Awards to put us on the map, for taking me out for matzo ball soup to make me feel better, and for writing what we use as our best promo still. Hope to see you soon, and this set is going to become infamous, and I hope we get to talk about it more. Wish you well. Oh, and now you're going back on the shelf. Sorry.